Happy Tuesday to you. Today I want to talk about the Municipal District of St. Stephen's Business Improvement Area, aka Downtown St. Stephen. What is that? Well, it has been clear as mud for many people for far too long what the BIA, Business Improvement Area, is, or Downtown St. Stephen. How does it work? Who is it? Where is it? What role does it play in our community? And how does it interact with the government, the Municipal District of St. Stephen's, council and staff? And that kind of thing. Now, yesterday I talked about Future St. Stephen, the economic development agency of the Municipal District of St. Stephen. The BIA is different. However, it is one of the major and most important business entities in the Municipal District of St. Stephen. So today, I want to explain to you, hopefully set the record straight, because the record had to be set straight for me, but this is the kind of thing I want to do as your mayor, to inform you on how things work in our community, what the processes are. And so last week, I attended an info session hosted by the BIA of St. Stephen. So Mary Dow, the executive director, and Nelson Lyons, the president, walked us through, those of us who were there, exactly the history of the BIA, how it works, all the questions, all those things that I set up earlier. Now, we have to go back all the way to 1981 for you to understand what the BIA in St. Stephen is. Back in 1981, the province of New Brunswick passed an act called the Business Improvement Areas Act, and that allowed municipalities to set up business improvement areas and impose a levy on non-residential properties in the business improvement area that municipality designated, okay? So I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but that came into effect in 1982, where now municipalities could designate an area of their downtown to be the business improvement area. And that comes with certain benefits. And I don't want to get too far into the weeds. I want to get specific to how our BIA benefits all of us in St. Stephen. But in 1984, St. Stephen, 2 years after the provincial BIA Act came into effect, St. Stephen instituted its downtown business improvement area. This is, I hold in my hand, a piece of history, a relic. You can download this off of the bylaws website. It is from 1984. It is the petition, because that's how it works. The BIAs the business owners in an area can petition council to set up a BIA. That's according to the Business Improvement Areas Act. That's how BIAs come into being. And here you have the original signatories in St. Stephen, businesses, business owners, and businesses, the whole list here from 1984, where they petitioned the municipal government. And the municipal government did basically set the BIA into effect. So you see here, it's signed by the mayor at the time, J. Douglas Hanson, and the clerk, Ruth S. Walker. And with that, the BIA was born. Where is the BIA? This is really important. So the Business Improvement Area, aka Downtown St. Stephen, as its branding is currently called, is essentially from Watson Street, Riverside Grocery area on Milltown Boulevard, all the way towards the Garcelon Civic Center and the intersection of Milltown Boulevard and King, and then goes up to Guardian Drugs-ish on King Street. Okay, so that is both sides of the street. That's the business improvement area, or downtown St. Stephen, here in the Municipal District of St. Stephen. Both sides of the street. And if you are a non-residential property owner here in St. Stephen along that route, then you are, congratulations, a member of the business improvement area. And what that means is the Municipal District of St. Stephen, when your property is assessed by the province, your business property, your commercial property, your non-residential property, if you own a property along that area, the Business Improvements Area Act gives the Municipal District of St. Stephen the right to impose a levy on your business. So that is essentially a tax that can be collected. It is imposed on your property. And what is the amount? It is 20 cents per $100 of assessed value. So to put that into perspective, as a homeowner in the urban area of St. Stephen, my residence is taxed. We call this just property tax, right? That's kind of the shorthand for it. I pay $1.56 per $100 of my assessed home value. In the rural areas, you pay 56 cents because there are less services in the rural area. And again, as mayor, it's very important for me to protect rural freedoms, make sure you're only paying what you pay for, etc. But that puts it into perspective. I just wanted to get a sense of, what your property tax is. I pay about $250 a month on my $1.56. So it's like $3+ grand a year, 250-ish times 12. And that gives you a sense of a business is going to pay 20 cents per $100. And that is the levy that gets collected by the BIA. Now, when that when that is collected, I just want to make sure I get this right. How are the funds raised? So all the funding for the BIA is from those property tax levies on those businesses, okay? So what are then the funds used for? So this is one thing that's important because these businesses pay the tax. It all gets collected by the BIA and it all gets used in that BIA area. So I'm also holding last year's levy document here, which was passed by council. Again, this is part of the BIA Act. This has to be all stipulated. There's a budget here set out by the executive director, Mary Dow. And you can see here the exact amount that is set to be collected. It is about 29,000 and change once all the business properties are assessed and that amount is collected. About $29,000 that goes to the BIA. Again, so that $29,000 will be used and put right back into any kind of improvement or any of the needs that the members deem important and beneficial for the BIA. And again, this is something that every resident benefits from if you go downtown to Pizza Delight or any business or the Garcelon Civic Center or, for ice cream or a pub or something down, coffee, the chocolate park. This is the kind of thing that beautifies our downtown, makes it more accessible in different ways. And so that money goes right back into downtown. Specifically, the funds are used for 4 categories: for beautification and for marketing. So this is where, getting the message out on, shopping local, shop local initiatives, whether that is purchasing ads and things like that to attract business, okay? There's also money for events. So sometimes there are events downtown that the BIA wants to put on to attract more foot traffic into the area so that businesses are more supportive with people being active downtown. And it's also for economic development. So again, that umbrella of when there's activity downtown, there's more going on. It's funny because I talked about the housing loop a few videos ago. You can check that in the title of a previous video. Any kind of activity that is generated downtown is going to benefit every single resident. And you might think, well, I live way in the rural area. Yes, but again, if we want to keep our property taxes down, we want to build up wealth in our community. The way we do that is to circulate tax dollars to attract people here, whether it's tourists, whether it's more people living here, more housing in the downtown where you have apartments over businesses. That takes a lot of pressure off of businesses because the rent payments are actually what is supporting people who own the property, or maybe the property owner actually lives up above their business, and that takes some of the pressure off of the businesses. So we always want to see more residences actually in the downtown to support the commercial properties and increase business activity and that kind of thing. So this is part of the downtown revitalization that we continue to want to see. Last year in the budget consultation process, this was one of the things that floated to the top in those sessions, and that's why, as mayor, I'm very aware that we need to continue to support our downtown in as many ways as possible. Now, I want to move on to kind of myth busting a little bit. So what is the BIA's relationship to the municipal district of St. Stephen, the council and the staff, etc.? Well, let's understand the governance of the BIA first. So the BIA is actually, again, the members are people who own properties in the BIA geographical area that I mentioned before. So then the BIA is actually led by a board of directors. There are currently 10 people on that board, and so they kind of determine the needs, the issues, but more than that, it is also around the funding. So when the money is levied by this act and designated, that $29,000 in this case this year, what happens next is that's the budget, that amount is approved by the council. So the council will in this document here, for example, that I showed you, the council will look at the proposed budget by the executive director and agree that those funds will be released to the BIA. So they can accept that. Council can vote to accept it, reject it, or amend it. And so once the funds are approved by council, they are released to the BIA. And this is a really important piece to understand here, is that then the BIA is fully in control of those funds. How they spend those funds are decided by the board in consultation with the members. Again, people who own businesses along the, people who own business property along the BIA, I should be specific about that. And they're accountable to those members on priorities and how they'd like to see that levy spent. So the money, again, there's no money that comes from your taxes as a resident. It is specific to the people who own business property, non-residential properties in the BIA. That money is approved by the Municipal District of St. Stephen, the council, on your behalf, because anything the council does is on your behalf as a resident. But then once that money is approved for and released to the BIA board and the members, essentially, then they determine how it is spent. How has that been spent in the past? Well, some examples are the digital board downtown, right at the corner of King Street on the kind of Five Kings property. That was part of the funds of the BIA. And this is where the municipal district will also, at times, your local government will find grants to partner with or match for certain initiatives with the BIA in order to get more kind of bang for buck, you could say. And so that happened with the sign. There'll be grant money kind of put in together with and bundled with the funds that are part of the BIA budget. Another thing that was done by the BIA money, and again in concurrence with the municipality with grants, was improving the wharf. So those of us who know how the wharf looks really strong and sturdy now and was renovated, that was done with BIA funds. A very recent project you're going to see this year is more lighting along the footpath next to the river. The BIA is involved with that, and I know as a member of the Rotary Club myself as well, we are jumping in and partnering and adding some more lights as well, because we just believe that this is a worthy project for beautification, making our community better. It's better for public safety, having a lit path and things like that. So hopefully that was helpful today. I just want to make sure I covered everything, because as I said, it hasn't been quite straight in my mind. What and who are the BIA, and what do they do, and what's their relationship to local government? But this is important. So why does this really matter for every resident of St. Stephen? It matters because, when the downtown core is strengthened, we have a stronger community. A downtown core makes for a stronger community because that's where businesses are, that's where events are, that's where people like to walk around on a beautiful evening or during the day. And so that's why there is this desire for a revitalized, stronger downtown. It drives foot traffic as well, and that is good for building community, but also for public safety. We've talked about how abandoned areas in the downtown attract a lot of nefarious activity, and we need to see more kind of eyes on the street, feet on the sidewalk, activity, and money being generated is the third thing. As I said, building up wealth in our community really does spring from a vibrant and active downtown. And the BIA and our downtown St. Stephen really help with that. So when you come into New Brunswick, across that American Bridge on Milltown Boulevard, right in the downtown, you see that beautiful yellow sign, Downtown St. Stephen. That's the kind of thing that the business improvement area does. And I just said I'd love to see those signs all over the place because they are absolutely fantastic, pointing traffic to the downtown. And we will continue, with me as your mayor, to work with the BIA. And so this was part of this brochure that I brought out yesterday that Future St. Stephen put together in collaboration with the Municipal District of St. Stephen, Future St. Stephen, the Chamber of Commerce, and Downtown St. Stephen, or the BIA. And so I'll just read kind of for consistency with yesterday, the page about the downtown St. Stephen is, and you know all this now because you just watched this video. Who does the BIA represent? Businesses and commercial property owners within the designated downtown BIA core. They are governed by who? What? Volunteer board with directors, membership required, with a paid executive director position. So thank you to Mary Dow, and thank you to Trevor Lyons, the president, for educating us and for all the work you do that benefits all of us in downtown St. Stephen. Funded how? Through special commercial property tax level within the BIA boundaries. Again, none of the money comes from the budget. It's all levied through that act from businesses in that area. So what do? They lead beautification efforts within the BIA boundaries, signage, banners, public art. They support and promote downtown businesses through events and marketing. They encourage entrepreneurship for small business growth, and they apply to grants to fund beautification and downtown development projects. A lot of what makes our downtown so beautiful and vibrant is because of the work of the BIA, and we're so grateful for that, because that is one of the reasons why I love living here. Just one of the few things. All right, this video is way too long, but hopefully that was straightforward, and that is just another way that we build up St. Stephen together. BuildUpStStephen.ca is my website. I look forward to sharing more with you in the coming days in tomorrow's video. Take care of yourself and your neighbor. Let's build up St. Stephen together. And thanks to the BIA. Cheers.